To the Point. I'm Birgit, and it's wonderful to be with you for another program. Well, today on the program, we are discussing the medical and nutritional topic of antioxidants and the health of our cells. And joining us to share a presentation on this is our friend and my co-host, Dr. Laura Richardson.
Hello,
Laura,
Birgit,
welcome.
and hello, everybody. This is one of the most exciting topics that I've ever covered, and because it basically outlines what God has actually told us thousands of years ago back in the book of Genesis. And I'm going to get Birgit to read a couple of scriptures shortly, but I just want to unpack slightly what antioxidants are all about. And I would say, you know the song, love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage? Well, antioxidants and free radicals are a bit like that love and marriage and horse and carriage. Antioxidants are the antidotes to free radicals. So we need to understand what free radicals are first before we can then say, why do we need antioxidants? So first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about the process of oxidation and why we need free radicals. And I think we got an image there just to help us to see what these awful free radicals are. Now, throughout our daily life, we are bombarded with free radicals. We actually generate free radicals in our own bodies just by the process of metabolism, digestion, respiration, reproduction. All those things in our bodies make free radicals. But also we're assaulted from the outside, the environment. So we've got internal mechanisms for making free radicals, but we've also got external bombardment with free radicals. So things like air pollution, cigarette smoking, ultraviolet rays from the sun, food and water containing pesticides, heavy metals, contaminants, excessive alcohol. I've mentioned cigarette smoking, which obviously is quite an important one. Radiation, X-rays, and even just around going to airports, planes, traveling on a plane. All sorts of things in our day-to-day life cause the formation of free radicals. And these free radicals, the second diagram will show that they are unstable molecules which have unpaired electrons on the outside. All our cells are made up of molecules, and these molecules have an environment around them. The outside surface has electrons which keep them stable, and these electrons are paired. Now, what free radicals do is that due to the processes that go on and due to pollution, free radicals are formed and they have unstable, unpaired electrons on the outer surface. It's physics and whatever, and it's just important to know that these unstable electrons need to find stability. So when they are formed through internal processes or when we're assaulted with them through the environment, these free radicals need to make sure that they themselves are stable, and to do that, they steal electrons from our own molecules so that they can become stable. And this process can take place, for instance, a process of oxidation, which we'll see when we cut an apple. It means that they're always seeking an electron, and so a chain process of oxidative stress occurs in everybody. As soon as a baby's born, they're exposed to free radicals all over the place, and they can't be protected from it. But these free radicals damage our cells. They kill our cells prematurely. They cause damage at the epigenetic level, at the DNA chromosomal level. They cause mutations. They cause premature disease. They cause cancer. They cause inflammation. They cause the aging and degenerative process. So a free radical, as the more processes take place, the more a person is exposed to free radicals, the quicker they age. So for instance, you'll see that somebody who smokes a lot, their skin will age much quicker than a non-smoker. They cause disease, they cause cancer, they cause wrinkles. Birgit, I'm always interested to see, over in August when the Revelation TV took a break, they showed some of my old programs from Health in Focus, which, would you believe, they were actually filmed in 2012. Absolutely amazing, amazing. The first thing, it shows that God's word about health and nutrition is the same. We learn from medical research that things have changed slightly, or we sort of fine-tune the knowledge we have. But I was fascinated to see that those over 6 years ago, there are more wrinkles now.
I think you look ageless, Laura. I don't think you do age. So. It is amazing. No, I know what you mean. My younger brother put a photo of us from when we were teenagers on his Facebook recently, and I thought, oh my goodness, because it actually really does show, the aging process, because you look in the mirror and you think, you don't really kind of realise, but it's when you see that contrast, it's like, oh my goodness. So, yes. But we feel the same inside. That's the important thing.
Amen, sister. Amen. But this is all due to free radicals. That's what they do. They fast forward aging, they speed up the process, they cause heart disease, inflammation and cancer. And of course, a lot of people are realising that. So the danger is that these free radicals cause disease, they cause premature aging, and they cause damage. So the answer, long story to say that the answer to free radicals is antioxidants. And what I'd like to do just before I talk about antioxidants is for you to read our first passage, which is Genesis 1:29.
Sure. So this is from Genesis 1, verse 29, and it reads, "Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food."
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I just wonder if you can go back to that diagram, the second diagram with the antioxidants donating, the generous antioxidant donating a molecule to the free radical. There we are, there's the angry free radical, and it's been donated antioxidant. And the beauty of antioxidants is that when you read Genesis 1:29, it's all there, because the main source of antioxidants are plants. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
God said that, do that. The main source of antioxidants are plants. So antioxidants, what are they? They donate molecules to free radicals, but they themselves do not get unstabilized, because the problem with, if you keep donating something to something, there's always going to be a deficit. So the antioxidants are not destabilized by donating an electron. I had a senior moment there to the free radicals, and they slow down the process. And how they work is that they donate, they neutralize it, they prevent cell damage, they reduce the risk of degeneration, they slow down the aging process. And we're going to be talking about good sources of antioxidants, because that is so important. But before we do that, could you just read the second passage, which is Genesis 9, 3-4?
Sure. So Genesis 9, starting at verse 3, and it reads, "Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it."
Amen. So God first of all said, eat plants only, but then he said, eat meat. So our healthy, balanced diet should be, according to the Word of God, and actually has been proven scientifically, to be a majority plant-based diet with a little bit of animal protein. And that's how God engineered, and that's how God actually said, and that blueprint has been shown to work. So people who are completely meat-free are actually not as healthy, and it has been shown vegans are not as healthy as those who have a little bit of meat in their diet, but have a majority plant-based diet. So that's just interesting to note that a lot of people do have vegans, but there is enough evidence to show that you need a little bit of animal protein.
It's really fascinating you saying that, Laura, because just actually having studied nutrition in the past and, taking an interest in different sort of diets or models of nutrition just over the years, one enduring principle that's just been consistent through all of these different models is exactly as you've said. I mean, it seems to be that there are kind of differences when it comes to advice regarding carbohydrate intake or fat intake and types of fats. And I mean, there are kind of different variations on those points, but the enduring principle that seems to be across the board is a diet which majors in plants and a little bit of fruit, but actually not so much fruit because of the sugar content, the fructose, but as you say, plant-based, and some protein, some in the form of meat. So it's really interesting to observe that across the board, and here we actually see it derived and founded in Scripture. It's amazing, God's wisdom from the beginning.
He's a wonderful God. He's a good God. He's He's the only wise God. Unto him be all power, all glory, all wisdom forever and ever. Amen. Calm down, Laura. So that's what the antioxidants do. They stop the chain of free radical formation. They capture things, they neutralize things, and they stop the breakdown. They slow down. We're all aging. We're all going to age. Unless we get raptured, we're all going to, at some point, leave this earth. But you know, it's slowed down, and God did say it was good. It's important to get a variety of antioxidants through fruit and vegetables, and I'm going to major in some of them. And I think we've got that diagram up there, which actually shows the major groups. There are so many, there's no way we can cover that in a program of this length. But I really wanted to major on the majors, because it's important to know what to incorporate in our diets if we haven't already. I'm hoping that if you've been watching Revelation TV long enough, we would have gleaned a lot of information about what is healthy and what is not healthy to eat. But I just wanted to unpack that a little bit more, and just to say, if you are having these groups of foods in your diet on a regular, consistent basis with a variety, and not just have one group all the time, because variety is important. You know, there are some essential vitamins like the ADEX, the A's, the beta-carotenes, the C's and the E's that we need to have in our diet, which we can't get from anywhere else, but we need to have this. So really, basically, I'd like to just do almost like an ABC of antioxidants. And the first one is the allium group. And I think we've got a wonderful diagram of the allium group there, which is basically onions, garlic, and you know, sort of the garlic and onions are the main ones. We've got leeks as well, but onions and shallots as well, but onions are the main, onions and garlic, and particularly garlic, very, very high. Alliums are extremely, extremely high in antioxidants, chives as well. They're sulfur-rich compounds, they contain vitamins and minerals, and what they do is they block the conversion of nitrates to nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are cancer-forming chemicals that actually do cause cancer. So these alliums block the production of nitrosamines, and that's a very important thing. So they prevent things like cancers, like stomach cancer. They also help to lower cholesterol, very important for preventing atherosclerosis. They help to prevent blood clots as well, because they thin the blood. So very, very important to have garlic and onions and leeks in that, but particularly garlic in our diet. They also inhibit the action of aflatoxins, which can be found in some peanuts as well. So if you're having peanuts and you're not sure whether you might be putting yourself at risk of aflatoxins, have a bit of garlic with them. Garlic and peanuts, how about that? So the allium group are so, so essential. Another very big group there, as you can see, is the berries. Berries are like, you know, you can never have too much berries. And what I actually tend to, berries are flavonoids. They have they've got really rich colors. You can see they contain all sorts of wonderful polyphenols in them, and they are absolutely amazing. They contain isothionines. They're just wonderful for preventing cancer. They're wonderful antioxidants. So things like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, cherries, there you go. That's a wonderful diagram of them. Now, they are important as antioxidants for not just cholesterol, but for cancer, for digestion, for inflammation. They kill cells, they kill germ cells. They produce, as I said, they produce anthocyanins. This dark berry color is very, very high in antioxidants. So berries, garlic, add to your diet if you aren't already, because they contain the bioflavonoids, and they help to bind toxic chemicals. They help to carry the toxic chemicals out of the body. So they actually group around them and swish them out of the body. And as I said, they're very good as antibacteria as well. So have your berries, have your grapes, have your raisins, and raisins are actually high as well. So this is dried grapes are high. They promote the breakdown of tumor cells. They stop the growth of tumor cells. They cause the breakdown of tumor cells, and therefore they prevent cancer growing. And they also are bacteriostatic and antiviral as well. So very important. So the alliums, the berries, and then you've got the C's, the cruciferous vegetables. Have we got a diagram? I think we do have a diagram of the cruciferous veg. There we have got them. The cruciferous veg are amazing. A lot of them contain a compound called sulforaphane, which is a powerful antioxidant, absolutely powerful. It's important for again, for cancer prevention, it's important. It helps to detoxify. A lot of these cruciferous vegetables help to detoxify the liver. So they actually help the liver to make sure it's functioning properly and to get rid of cells, chemicals, medicines that we take properly. It helps to promote the production of something called glutathione. And glutathione is a powerful antioxidant. We actually produce a little bit of glutathione in our diet, but not a lot of it. So these cruciferous vegetables help to raise the bar in producing a lot more glutathione in a diet. They protect healthy cells. So if somebody is unfortunate and they're having cancer therapy, like chemotherapy, the cruciferous vegetables will actually help to protect the normal cells from damage due to chemotherapy. As I said, they help with the liver, they help with detoxification of the liver. It's also important to note that these cruciferous vegetables, they're not the most pleasant vegetables taste-wise. So a lot of people avoid them. I mean, if you think about it, if you look at that diagram, you've got the broccolis, you've got the cauliflowers, you've got the red cabbage, Brussels sprouts, my oh my. They're not exactly the most palatable vegetables.
But it's amazing to hear the kind of medicinal aspect of them. Just as you're explaining it, it almost, it kind of like creates the incentive really to go out and to eat these foods just purely because of the goodness that it does to our bodies. So it is just so helpful, you kind of breaking this down and helping us to see really which foods we should be opting for. So, but I know taste is a factor, but it's...
But it's good. I mean, it's important first to realise that it's not all about taste. And you can have a variety. And what I do sometimes, I talked to another programme about how to get your 2.5 litres of water during the day. And one of the things I do, I have my lemon water in the morning, but I'll also go down and do a blend of juice. I recently broke my juicer because I've used it so much that I have not had time or inclination, they're not cheap, to go out and buy a new one. So I've discovered a new method of juicing, and this is what this is what I do now, this cheapskate Dr. Laura. I stick all the veg in the blender.
Oh wow.
So I'd cut my cruciferous things. I put some broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and all that. I always put a green apple in there for taste. So I blend it all up and then I put it through a sieve. Wow. And get rid of the pulp. So obviously at the end of this, you've got a lot of the fibre, the pulp, but at least you get the juice. So I just press it through a sieve and get the juice out. I'm hoping to get one of these muslin cloths, because apparently they're very good. You put all the stuff in there and just squeeze out the juice in a muslin cloth. So for those cheapskates out there, if you can't afford a juicer and you've got a magic bullet at home.
That's a great solution, and it shows your dedication. I'm very impressed by that. That's amazing. Actually, speaking about taste when it comes to these antioxidants, do you know that I actually read that there is a surprising source, probably not surprising to you, but this does taste amazing. Chocolate.
Absolutely.
Apparently that's a source of antioxidants. That's surprising.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah. Okay, some other surprising sources I've read about. Wine.
Yeah, resveratrol. Resveratrol.
So these are all different forms?
They're all different forms of antioxidants.
Okay.
Yeah, so red wine, not just ordinary wine, with red wine.
Okay.
Yes.
Another surprise?
Yeah, go on then.
Which I love.
Go on.
Coffee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of unexpected. So that's actually a source of antioxidants as well, black coffee or...
It is.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of caffeine, green tea would be the best in terms of antioxidants, because it's got this thing called elegalic acid in it, ECGC. I can never pronounce it properly. Actually, no, it's not elegalic acid. It's EGCC, which I'll look it up and just try and present. It's catechins anyway. But in terms of the polyphenols from coffee and tea, other beverages, green tea is certainly the best. But coffee's good. The only problem with coffee is quantity and frequency, and a lot of people have it too regularly, and so the benefits are there. Not as good as green tea or hibiscus tea, which is super, super high in antioxidants. But the problem is that you've also got the other effects of coffee, of caffeine, such as the effect on blood pressure, effect on the pulse, effect on the brain. It keeps the brain in an alert state longer than it should be, etc., etc. So a couple of cups of coffee a day, fine, but if you're having it too regularly, then, whereas you can drink green tea, hibiscus tea all day, and and the benefits continue, even though it contains caffeine. It's also got the good polyphenols in it that helps cancer prevention, etc. So it's a balance. But yes, I mean, you think about God and his creation, and unfortunately man, we have messed things up, haven't we? But God is good, and he still loves us, and he still gives us a blueprint if we choose, my hair's all over the place, if we choose to follow. So,
another source that can I ask you about?
Yes, of course. Now, just go back to, look, would you mind just going back to that, those lovely diagrams for me? So we've got the alliums, we've got the berries, we've got the cruciferous, and we've got the herbs and the spices. Now, that is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? The reason is that people don't realise just how powerful herbs and spices are. And a little bit of oregano. You add a little bit of oregano. For instance, people who barbecue their food, when the food is barbecued, it raises the carcinogens in the food by you produce all these nitrosamines, you produce all these really horrible free radicals when people overcook, barbecue the meat. But just by putting some oregano to season the meat or the chicken makes a lot of difference. Or having a big bowl of salad with their barbecue, like salad with cruciferous vegetables. And it's good to have these things raw. You don't need to cook them. You can actually have them raw.
And herbs and spices can be in quite a concentrated state as well, which I imagine would be helpful.
Absolutely. In the centre there, you've got the wonderful turmeric. Now, where do we start with turmeric? Curcumin. Turmeric is absolutely amazing as an antioxidant. It's good for inflammation. It's good for oxidation. It's good for so many things. It's good for, it will heal gums if someone's got sore gums and ulcers. It's so important. So herbs and spices like turmeric is good. Things like cinnamon, not just good for maintaining your blood pressure, but also very good for antioxidation. Piperine, for instance, black pepper. Now, black pepper is an important adjunctor, so it helps to absorb other kinds of nutrients. For instance, a little bit of black pepper with turmeric is fantastic because black pepper helps to improve the absorption of turmeric, and so it's just absolutely amazing. So have your spices, you've got a bit of cayenne pepper there, you've got some capsaicin, which is ordinary pepper, jalapeno peppers, but black pepper out of all those peppers is perhaps the best type of herb and spice. But you've also got the oreganos, you've got the basils, you've got the curcumin as well, you've got sage, you've got all sorts. I mean, they're just so many, and as we can't go into all of them, but those are basically the key ones that I would suggest. Now, Birgit, a typical diet, and this is something that some people say, okay, so how do you put this all together? You've got all these antioxidants. What practically can you do to put them all together? And it's very simple. If you add a bit of antioxidant to your every meal and to your every snack, you will see amazing results. I've got a friend who I'm working on at the moment now that I'm a nutritionist doctor, and I've been working with her for the last 6 weeks, and she looks so different. And all she has done really is by bumping up her fruits and vegetables according to Genesis 1:29. Removing all the man-made processed foods like the cakes and the biscuits and the sweets and the breads and all the rest of them. And she's got so much energy, her skin is better, she feels healthier, she actually looks so much better, and everybody can tell. So the Genesis 1:29 diet does work, and you can't patent it because it's God's. However, we can help with practical solutions as to how to make it work. And what I would say is, if you look at your diet, and when a patient comes in, I mean, a lot of my patients now know that I give nutritional advice. And I say, we've heard about you, Dr. Richardson, so we come to you for some nutritional advice. We've heard that you like to do things naturally, sort of thing. And of course, that's always with wisdom. You can't just, do whatever. You need to know where they're about and what they're able to do. But for instance, a typical high antioxidant day would be start the day with some warm lemon juice. And that's good because it's got antioxidants, it's got vitamin C, which is an essential antioxidant. Warm water, it helps to get the digestive juices going, and it can put a person in an alkaline plus state, which also helps with digestion, absorption of food, and also basically the pH of a person is important. It's best to be slightly alkaline. So start the day with lemon juice. Have a glass of vegetable juice, perhaps while you're exercising, because the process of exercising releases a lot of free radicals. A lot of people don't actually know that exercising releases a lot of free radicals. So it's important that you actually counteract that effect by having a good source of antioxidants after or even before your exercise. Get there and flood your body before you start to exercise. And what I would do, for instance, in the mornings, I would have a juice, like, you know, my cheapskate method now. I'd have my juice ready, and I'd do that, and while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I would sip my juice. And then for breakfast, what would you have? Instead of having oats on their own, a patient came in to me and said, I'm really trying to eat healthily, but you know, what do you have? So I said, I broke her down and said, what do you have? I have oats for breakfast. And I thought, great, that's really good. But that's a good start. Oats plus is even better. So oats plus a cup of berries, a cup of blueberries, some cranberries, some nuts, some seeds, some linseed, add a little bit of turmeric and some cinnamon and some black pepper, and what have you got? You have got an amazing, super antioxidant rich breakfast already.
It's amazing. That's a super food, super packed breakfast right there. Can I ask you a question though, Laura?
Yes,
Is it possible to have too many antioxidants in our diet? Is that a risk? And does it create problems at all if we have too many antioxidants?
I think it's impossible, really.
Okay.
To be honest, I think the average person's diet, it's impossible to have too many. We're always deficient, and you know, unless we are, it's impossible. The essential antioxidants like the vitamin C's, the beta-carotenes, the vitamin E's, you get them from things like nuts and seeds and cruciferous vegetables and citrus fruits and berries. It's impossible. I mean, there is only a certain amount of capacity in a person's stomach anyway.
Right.
And I think the majority of us in the UK and beyond are so deficient in antioxidants that the chance of overdosing is nil, you know. So breakfast, you got your oats. For lunch, before lunch, if you want, you can have a snack of some nuts. You can have some fruit as well, some dark chocolate. With your green tea, sipping your green tea throughout the day. For lunch, before you have any lunch, have a big bowl of salad with all those cruciferous things in there. Have some olive oil and some garlic, etc. Put some oregano make your own homemade salad dressing. Bung it in there. Put it all there, have a nice big bowl of salad before you have anything else. In fact, sometimes the big bowl of salad will fill you up.
And in the last 30 seconds, what would you recommend for dinner to close off the day?
Some hummus with green peppers, some beans, and another bowl of salad.
Laura, that has just been a fantastic program and description of antioxidants and how we can really nourish ourselves to enhance our cell health. Thank you so much. We hope the program's been a blessing to you. We'll see you again next time. God bless and goodbye.